Hello, my name is Sarah Bowden, and this is my group leading report from my class at Liberty University. It's called the Group Dynamics 511. And in this video, I will discuss my support group experience, well as provide just general background of the members that participated in the support group, well as the content, the process, and then my evaluation of myself leading this group. I have did group leadings in the past, but this support group was very difficult for me, but it was also it was amazing. I was able to see through this group how God was able to just take the wheel and just show us how even through our imperfections that God still has a plan for our life, and his plan is victorious. So again, my name is Sarah Bowden, and this is the reflection from my group leading. I led a group for a support group called adults that's basically experiencing divorce. The participants that participated in the group, their ages were from 37 years old to 60. I had 3 females and 3 males. The 3 males that were in the group were well acquainted with one another, and the 3 females were not acquainted with one another, but with men, I wanted them to feel more comfortable to express themselves. The group was held on February the 24th, and it was at 2:00 p.m. The group was held at a country club that's right near my home, but I wanted to do the country club just because I wanted the members to feel like they were not at home, but somewhere else on, just a private area where they could feel free and not feel like they're carrying stuff around with them. But I did at the beginning of the group, I basically introduced the women to the rest of the men. Like I said, the men had already knew themselves. So what I did was I had food that I had already purchased, just small appetizers of finger food such as chicken and celery and cheese dip, and I also just had quiet gospel music playing so the members could just move around before we got started. When I got started with the group, I discussed confidentiality, explained what that looks like. Even though the 3 men knew each other, there was already a confidential agreement where they was going to keep, it was laughter about that they even wanted to make sure that their names was left out of this group, and they just wanted to solely participate for me in this class. So we talked about what confidentiality looked like. We talked about, we gave a verbal consent far as we're going to keep things that is discussed in this group. It was going to stay in this group. But I first began the group by explaining what the purpose of the group. And the purpose of the group was to shine a light on individuals that have been through divorce, but to provide hope and to also work through different issues that was related to fear, loneliness after going through a divorce, and well as providing tools to moving forward in their future. I began the warm-up group. The warm-up activity was an activity I did where I had M&Ms and I allowed them to grab as many M&Ms as they could, and they didn't realize that this was part of my activity, so some of them had many M&Ms as they wanted to have. But I asked each individual to with the M&Ms to tell something unique about themselves, whether if it's embarrassing or something they have never shared before, but to just reiterate that this is a safe and a comfortable place where you can feel free to just share whatever they needed. So the individuals went around the room, and for every M&M they provided a uniqueness about themselves, a memory. It was quite laughter in the room from the M&Ms that we went right into discussing about divorce. And so what I did was I did a round. Well, I had everyone in, to participate in a round. And what we did was we discussed about, we discussed briefly about what, if you had a briefcase, and in that briefcase, what would be in the briefcase? What's in your briefcase? And I basically discussed that the items that's in the briefcase kind of reflects of who you are. What are you holding on to? And so a lot of the individual, there was one female in the group where she had a lot of stuff in her briefcase, and she expressed that she was proud of the things that was in her briefcase because those things that was in her briefcase made her who the woman that she is today. I also did scaling, talked about how they viewed themselves as a person from 1 to 10. What's some of the things that they would like to change? A lot of the members in the group talked about communication. So we expressed what communication looked like. With communication, it kind of led into my next activity when I talked about the 5 love languages. And within the 5 love languages, we did a mini test on what type of person are you? Do you like gifts? So when your spouse or girlfriend or wife, when they give you, tickets to a football game, how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel that she loves you or he loves you? Vice versa to a woman. If a man brought you all the purses in the world or all the shoes in the world, what does that mean to you? So we talked about love language far as gift, love language far as being able to show affection. So there's physical touch. And so forth. A lot of the men and women discussed that one of their love languages was affirmation. They wanted to hear it over and over again. I love you, or thank you for taking the trash out. And so those things I thought was very unique. Some of the things too that I thought that was also awesome. It was cool to see how each individual were engaged with one another. A lot of sensitive subjects was touched, far as what led to a divorce, and a lot of the women in the group was more on the men's side and more provide words of encouragement to show to, basically standing on God's word that you're the head of the household and not the tail. So I was glad to see how the men was being empowered, and also to see how the women were able to allow the men to just express themselves freely and be supportive. At the end of the support group, I allowed each individual to just reflect on all the things that they discussed, everything that they shared, and then moving forward, what does life look like, and how can you help someone else by being in this support group? So they provided responses. Mostly everything was all positive. Sometimes I think when you incorporate food, everybody gets happy anyway. But one man suggested at the end of the support group is that he wanted to lead in prayer. And I thought that was super awesome, where even though this was entirely for a class, that he put God in it and he prayed. Not only did he pray for himself, but he prayed for everybody in the group. And so it was awesome. It was exciting just to see how God moved. I enjoyed leading the group. I thought it was very helpful for me to see how I utilized eye contact. I was able to listen. I summarized very well on what was mentioned. So I did a lot of reflective feelings, so then to move the group along, because I wanted every group member to know that I'm hearing them, I'm listening, and I'm being supportive. So awesome support group. It was amazing. I would definitely do it again. And I thank God for even being among women and men who have experienced divorce. Thank you. And this is Sarah Bowden with my group leading support with divorce. It also was a closed group because with everyone's professional, I wanted to keep everything closed and private. So I thank God for that. Thank you.